Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Tita and welcome to the channel. Feel free to subscribe if you are not already. So for today's video, I'm going to be sharing all the secrets that I have for you guys since the moment you actually want to create the content. So ideation, planning, shooting, and then until the process of editing. The presets that I use, equipment, so on and so forth. And yeah, everything basically until the final product. So stick around if you want to see how I edit, create, and do all the things for Instagram. You can also see down below all the timestamps, I think that's what they called, so you can skip to the part that most interests you. I highly recommend you to watch the full video, but hey, I also do that, so it's fine. First of all, one of the most asked questions on my Instagram is the equipment that I use to shoot or to film videos and photos. This has a very broad answer just because I have two cameras and I have an iPhone, and then I also got into film recently, so there is just a lot of options for me to create the content. So if I feel like I want to just create content organically, for example, I will get my nails done, that I do a lot of reels about it. Basically, I'll just take my phone with me and just shooting there, just because it does the job, it has really high quality, and for me, it's not justified to just carry around two big cameras. Then I have the camera that I'm currently filming with, which is the Canon 200D, and this camera is for a more professional photograph slash video. So the other camera that I have is the Canon M100. I talked about this camera before, but basically this camera for me, it's the one that is the most easy to carry around besides my iPhone, and so whenever I'm looking for more professional content, I will just take the camera with me because, for example, for vlogging and everything, it's just perfect. And then recently I got into film. This year I've just been using disposable cameras all around, and then I had my film developed, which is great because I love the concept of you being more intentional with the photos that you're taking. I really like to shoot on film. I think it's just the quality of the photo, the memory that it speaks, I really love it, and so expect more film content on my Instagram as well. This week I got my film camera, a little reusable compact camera, so the quality isn't amazing of the camera. I ordered from Amazon, but it was like 20 euros or something, so I can't complain. And I'm very excited just to see the final results of the film, so yeah, be sure to tune in so you can also see the results. So basically then I have just two tripods. One tripod is from my dad's, and this is more professional tripod, the one that I use to stabilize this camera, for example, and whenever I have to do more films with camera, especially because the weight of the camera. And I really like this tripod. You can do so much things with it just because it's very professional. And then I also bought my own, woo, but it's a very cheap tripod. This is the tripod that I use to film with my iPhone or to shoot with my iPhone, just because it has the phone adapter, and so I'll just place my iPhone and everything is ready to shoot. I also love that this last tripod has a ring light on it, just because it makes creating the content so much easier, and you can turn on the lights if you want to have just more light. And yeah, it's a very complete tripod, but the quality isn't as great as the tripod that I use to stabilize this camera. Besides this ring light, I also have a separate ring light that my friends got me on my birthday in 2020, and I really love it. It has so much quality. It's so much better than the one that I bought with the tripod, but that one is just for me, you know, like something very light to carry around if needed. But yeah, I use ring lights not so often because I really like the natural lighting, but sometimes it's very like crappy day and you have to introduce the ring lights, and so yeah, it is what it is. It's always great to have one around at least, so you can just do more points of light if needed. Moving now to the part where I actually create the content. So first of all, I do a little brainstorming session where just organically just create content. For example, I list down everything that I think it's fun and interesting and I could easily create just because I identify myself with a lot. I also always try to take into consideration like the video that I'm uploading on Sunday, so the Sunday content on my Instagram can be related to it, just in order to kind of promote the video. That's like the only thing that I take into consideration while planning the content. Also some like important days, for example, for me, Mental Health Day is very important, so I will try to create a special content just for that day. Then I just pull out my calendar and do like a rough sketch on my calendar app, just because I know I can just play it around until it's final, and then I will transfer all the data, all the events, all the video ideas, all the photo ideas into my physical planner, because I'm a stationery freak, if you didn't know that, and so I love to have on paper everything that I need to do. So whenever I have the content just planned out on my Google Calendar and also on my planner, I try to just go through all the content and to see like if I need to shoot 3 days earlier, or if I need to buy something just for that content, or if I need to create something for that content. And so I just try to plan out when to film, when to edit also the content, so I know what to do and kind of do time blocking. That I really like to do that on my calendar. So now I just really want to give you a quick tip on the Google Calendar. One thing that I do is I separated calendars for my small business, my Instagram and my YouTube, so each has its color, and so on my calendar I can easily see if I need to take more time to devote myself to this part, to Instagram or YouTube, for example. And so visually it just makes more sense to me because I'm a very visual person. But yeah, this is just my tip for you guys. It works for me and it just makes everything so much easier. My mind is just so much more organized, so I just feel like sharing these with you. So the last thing that you have to plan are your outfits and your scenarios. So for me, the outfits, it's not something that I take into consideration very often, just because I really like organically film my content, and so whatever outfit I'm wearing that day, I will just wear it to shoot and to film, whatever. I just really like to capture the moment and not to think about it too much. But whenever I feel more intentional with the outfits that I'm wearing for the content, I would just try to match with the vibe of the content. For example, today's video, it's very cozy. You have the candles, you have wood things going on, and I love just the beige aesthetics. So I just choose these jacket, this hoodie, so I can just be more casual, more cozy to talk to you guys. For the scenario, I most likely just shoot on my bedroom. I try to, whenever doing bedroom makeovers, to find angles that I really like to capture. So I just have a bunch of options when filming. So now I'm currently filming with this angle, but I usually film towards that angle, and then I also have that angle that it's very appropriate to film, but kind of different videos. So yeah, this is mainly what I do, is just I put on my bedroom, I just set the tripod, and I just create the content for you guys. But yeah, basically I would just shoot on my bedroom. I have a white sheet also, so I can just throw it and just be like hanging on my curtains, for example. A more professional set where I would add a plant, fairy lights, something more intentional, or on the street if it's a content of like exterior. This is the thing that I take more into consideration when planning the content or editing, for example, is whenever I'm planning the content, I already know more or less what I want the final product to look like. So for me, it's easier to just produce the content by myself because I know the angles, I know the outfits, I know the scenarios, I know all the editing, or more or less all the editing that I need to put on the video, and so I try to capture the angles that can just lead to a better final result, having that concept on my mind, if that makes any sense. So before creating your actual content, I just advise you to kind of search a little bit, or I don't know, having these ideation done before capturing the content, just because sometimes you capture something and then you are editing and it's not what do you envision? I also don't like to reshoot my content a bunch of times, just because whenever I have to reshoot and reshoot and reshoot, for me it just stops to being organically, and so it just takes the whole purpose of my Instagram feed or YouTube channel. And after these tremendously enormous talk, whatever I do next is just to shoot and then edit. I use the previously mentioned equipment to shoot, either my iPhone, my cameras, and my tripods. Now, having the content produced, all the angles, all the positions, all the things, I have to edit everything. My editing process can either go two ways. One way, I edit with my iPhone, something very quick, very simple. For example, Reels or TikToks that don't need much professional editing into it. I'll just put the files on my iPhone if they're not already there, and I'll just edit on my phone and I'm good to go. I use the app InShot, and I actually bought the pro version when I was creating content for my small business, just because I think it's an app that you can easily create videos and like professional videos on your iPhone if you have the right material to work with. And so yeah, I bought the pro version. It isn't so expensive, and if you're a content creator and you want to take this seriously, there are some little investments that you need to do along the way, and this is one of the investments that I did. The other way that I go whenever editing, the other process, is if I want to have a more professional and careful result of the final product, I would edit with Premiere Pro or After Effects, depending on the final result that I want. These are softwares that I highly recommend, and especially if you are a design student, I use them a bunch, and just gives you all the extra steps, the extra mile that you can go whenever creating content. So I also want to talk to you about the apps that I use to just kind of edit my photos. Till now, more or less, I would just edit all my photos with the Lightroom app that I have for the mobile. It's a free app and you can create your own presets. So I think it's a very professional app and you can go the extra mile on creating content. But recently, I've also bought the 𝒕𝒂𝒎𝒄 Pro version, and I really like to use that app. It's more aesthetically the content, and honestly, for autumn, I created my kind of preset with that app and I really like it. I will still invest on Lightroom to create the fall, the perfect winter fall presets, but for now I really like to use my 𝒕𝒂𝒎 because yeah, it's very aesthetically pleasing, very easy, very intuitive to use, and I highly recommend. I also like to use the 𝒕𝒂𝒎 app to really just edit my Reels and TikToks, just because I think, as I said before, it's a more aesthetically pleasing app when it comes to editing. It has already presets, for example, like 8mm frame, 60mm frame, just has a bunch of like film and vintagey presets, which I love and I really like to use on my Reels and TikTok. Then for the photos, I actually love to use Procreate app. I don't know if a lot of creators use this app or not, but I like to doodle around whenever it just makes sense. And yeah, I really like it. It is a paid app and I use it on my iPad, but honestly, as a design student and as a content creator, it just makes a lot of sense to pay. It's just a one-time payment. I have these for a lifetime now, and yeah, I just highly recommend. So nowadays, for creating Reels and videos and TikToks, whatever, I will just use, if they're more professional, of course, I would use the Premiere Pro or After Effects to edit the content itself, put all the right angles, right editing, and the typography if needed, you know, all the shebang. And then I'll do the final color grading using the 𝒕𝒂𝒎 app, just to unify all the content that I have on my feed so they can just have the same, you know, filter, the same preset. For editing, I think that's all. Just one more thing is, whenever I'm creating stories and I feel like creating stories without the Instagram filters or, you know, those things that already exist, I would highly recommend using Canvas or Unfold. I really love these two apps and I've paid them like the Premiere version of the Pro version, whatever, and I highly recommend. I used Canva a lot for my small business just because it's easier to create content, for example, on my computer, and then use the Canva app to just synchronize everything with my phone and to just be on the go creating content with my phone. And so I highly recommend, if you are, for example, a small business owner, to have a Canva Pro account. But honestly, I don't have it anymore just because it wouldn't just make sense for me anymore, so I canceled that subscription. But I highly recommend if you are thinking about it. The other app that I mentioned, the Unfold app, I really like it. I don't like the free version just because I think it's very limited on your options. But if you pay the pro version like I do, you have a bunch of presets, a bunch of like new frames and story templates that you can use. And I really like to edit the content and then transfer to Unfold and have a beautiful story created. But yeah, I think that's all the apps that I use and all the tips that I have for you guys. So the last thing is I'm going to be answering to your questions. You can also follow me on my Instagram if you haven't done it yet, just because whenever I do these more interactive videos, I really ask you guys and I take your feedback into consideration. Or for example, I ask you there to ask me questions, and so yeah, you may appear on the video. So the first question is, how do you organize everything? Life, YouTube, university, work? It's very complicated, I must say. I don't know if you watched the last video, you guys, but the last video really was kind of depressing to edit the video, not gonna lie, because I wasn't in the perfect mental health-ish state. I don't know how to say that. But yeah, life can be very tricky sometimes just because I'm a very ambitious person and I want to do a lot of things at the same time. I feel like I just really prioritize the right things in life. For example, I know my master's is like my main thing over there, but I really love to create content. And so I just try to do my life around those two things, and if I need to wake up earlier to do all the things that I want for the day, I will. And if I have to sleep less, I will. It's really fine for me. I just really want to feel fulfilled at the end of the day. And so, yeah, me trying to organize everything, sometimes it's chaotic, but I just try to also do color blocking on the Google Calendar app. But mostly I can't organize everything, and I can't do everything that I want to do. And yeah, sometimes it sucks, but I try to organize myself and just prioritize, really. Other questions is how you do that. Well, I'm telling you, this is how I edit and create content and so on and so forth. But yeah, I don't know. I hope that I help someone with these tips, but I have more questions here. So questions here are mostly questions that I had respond during the video, just about the scenery, how about the outfits, the planning, and so on and so forth. But the last question that I really want to answer is, how do you do to make it more consistent? And honestly, I think that comes with the planning part. I really try to plan at the end of the month every content that I have to post or to do, and then I will just try to adjust during the weeks and everything. But I also try to reuse content that I've shot previously, or use content that I didn't post previously, but I should. So it's just kind of like saving time on this life of being a student, a master's student, having a full-time job, having YouTube, small business. Just, you know, you have to be smart. And for me, sometimes I would just take a morning to film and shoot a bunch of content, just because I know that perhaps in like 1 week or 2 weeks I will not have the same opportunity or the same time to just take out of my busy day to film and do so. So yeah, that's basically how I try to be consistent. I've stopped for a little bit to be consistent on my Instagram, just because I think it's very important to take care of your mental health. And if you aren't feeling that what you're doing it's the right thing, you should stop and rethink everything. And it's fine to stop, it's fine to fail, and yeah, it's just fine. Just be happy, honestly, be happy, be healthy, and that's everything that I have for you guys. That was the video, guys. I really hope you guys liked it. I hope that I could answer to your questions throughout the video. I hope that I could help someone, some content creator out there. And don't be afraid to just risk. If you want to create content, just do it. I feel like a lot of people are like "Ooh, but if I create content or if I invest on Instagram or on YouTube, people are going to make fun of me." So what? Really, who cares? I've been on YouTube for more than 6 years. That means that I've spent like my high school, my college, and then my other college now on YouTube, and honestly it was the best thing that I've ever done. People may comment, people may talk about you, but that's fine, girl. You just gotta be happy, you just gotta find your thing. And yeah, whenever people see that you are truly intentional about the things you are doing and you really like it, people just support you. I really hope you guys liked it. I love you all so much, and you know already, if you have any questions besides the ones that I've answered or whatever, just comment down below and I'll answer, obviously. But yeah, I love you all so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Stay safe and stay happy. Bye!